Afternoon, this is Asa Pittman with CNN News. I'm reporting on the hurricane that we know has been headed straight for America, to Florida that is, and currently it is over the Bahamas, packing winds of 185 miles an hour, wind gusts of over 220 miles an hour. Reporting from a South Florida Sun Sentinel, this is what they reported this morning. Category 5 Hurricane Dorian has reached 185 miles an hour. It has issued a watch for the Deerfield, Beach, and Brevard counties. Hurricane Dorian winds are at a catastrophic 185 miles an hour this Sunday afternoon, with wind gusts in excess of 220 miles an hour, as the storm is making landfall at the Bahamas. South Florida will experience showers and gusty winds Sunday from a few wisps of the storm's outer bands, as the region prepares for impacts that could range from a day or two of rain and high winds. Well, friend, it's going to look like it's going to stay here a lot longer than just a couple of days as far as the East Coast. A hurricane watch was issued from Boca Raton, Florida, and Brevard County late Sunday morning after the storm reached the Category 5, and its projected path took a slight bend towards Florida. The storm made landfall at 12:40 p.m. Sunday on Elbow Cay and Apico Islands. Palm Beach County ordered the evacuation of Barrier Islands and other vulnerable areas on Sunday, including the site of President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. South Florida remains at the left edge of the cone of uncertainty, indicating the likely course of the storm's center, and cone center remains well offshore at this time, but is aimed at the Carolinas. Most potential paths still is showing that the storm could go back out to sea, but the critical question remains, will it turn north before it does that? Okay, the overall trend and of the projections is showing that the hurricane will turn northward offshore before making landfall to Florida's peninsula, the Hurricane Center said at a 11 o'clock briefing. Quote, it is emphasized that although the official track forecast does not show a landfall, users should not focus on the exact track. A small deviation of the left of the track could bring the intense core of the hurricane and its dangerous winds to the coast. Yes. The storm strengthened unexpectedly Sunday morning, reaching the Category 5 that we've already discussed. As it struck the Bahamas, the National Hurricane Center said at the 9:30 a.m. Sunday update. The evacuation order, which has taken effect at 1 p.m., covers two zones. Zone A includes mobile homes, substandard housing, and low-lying areas. Zone B includes barrier islands, land north and south of the Jupiter Inlet, and other vulnerable areas south of the intracoastal waterway to the Broward County line. Now, friends, if y'all live in any of these areas in Florida or on the East Coast, they have provided a website. It's called readypbc.com. I'll say that again. The word ready, BC Paul Berry cat.com. Go to that website and see if you are in one of those dangerous areas. But I imagine you can go outside and look and tell whether or not you're in a dangerous area. A watch previously issued for a stretch of the coast from Deerfield Beach to Sebastian Inlet was upgraded to a warning, which means tropical storm conditions are expected in less than 36 hours, which of course this was a few hours ago, so we're probably down to about 30 hours. The first tropical force winds could reach Florida as soon as Sunday night. But the more likely arrival time at the speed which it's going, because it was going at 7 miles an hour, now it's going at a whopping 3 to 5 miles an hour, which is causing it to dump a lot more rain where it's sitting. But a more likely arrival time has projected the storm to get to the East Coast on Monday morning, just after dawn. Okay. Broward counties are opening 3 special need adult shelters and 1 pediatric special needs shelter Sunday. So those are open as we speak. Okay, let's see here. For those that's living in the Palm Beach County areas, which is particularly on the north coast of the county, it has a greater than 50 to 60% chance of experiencing the hurricane force winds. And like I've already reported in this, they're currently at 185 miles an hour with sustained winds, with gust of winds of 220 plus miles an hour. Friend, they have already said this is the strongest hurricane in so many years that has come to visit Florida on a Labor Day, and I'll share that with you in just a second. Okay. The odds of tropical force winds are even greater in coastal Palm Beach County, which has a 90% chance of experiencing those winds. Let's see here. Mr. Ken Graham, which is the director of the National Hurricane Center, described Dorian as a storm in robust health, a textbook hurricane with a well-defined eye, and you can see the image on the screen that I got right over here of that well-defined eye. I will shoot it up there to you and let you get a closer look at it. But anyway, it is still growing in strength. While he said that the forecast looks better for Florida, but the proximity of such a powerful storm still places the whole coast in danger. You know what? I know they're trying to remain positive, but friend, just look at this storm. Just look at that storm. This thing is nothing to play with. Okay. Also, I want to share with you, this is not the first time that a hurricane of this size has visited the East Coast on Labor Day weekend. This is a report also from the Sun Sentinel down there in South Florida. Labor Day hurricanes have had an ugly history dating back to 1935. The, quote, Great Labor Day hurricane of 1935 was the most intense Category 5 hurricane system to ever strike the United States coastline. Hurricane Dorian is a forecast to strike Florida as also a major storm on Labor Day. Looks like old Dorian is wanting to compete for that title of being the biggest, the baddest, and the fastest winds that has hit the coast of America. And if it does, it will not be the first hurricane that has ruined the nation's holiday which is always celebrated on the first Monday of September. There has been at least 25 hurricanes have barreled onto the shores over the past Labor Day weekend since 1851. Data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration shows that 7 of those slammed into Florida. The last one, hurricane that had made a landfall during the Labor Day weekend was Hurricane, I reckon it's pronounced Hermine or Hermione, I don't know. Anyway, that storm, other and recent storms that touched land included also the 2010 hurricane called Earl. Y'all remember Earl? It skimmed the East Coast before headed on up to Nova Scotia. Before that, we had Hurricane Gustav, came ashore in the Louisiana as a Category 2. So anyway, the holiday of Labor Day arrives during the peak holiday season in the Atlantic, when some of the most intense systems have developed. Here is a look back of those major destructive. There's like 5 of them, which of course we discussed. The Great Labor Day Hurricane, which happened on September the 2nd of 1935. It was the most intense Category 5 system to ever strike the U.S. coastline. Barreled across the Florida Keys, packing 185-mile-an-hour winds. The hurricane destroyed every structure in the upper Keys. The storm became known as the Great Labor Day Hurricane because the naming of hurricanes didn't start until 1953 from lists originated by the National Hurricane Center. The world's meteorological organization now maintains and updates the list of names. The Great Labor Day Hurricane killed about 500 people. And friend, let me tell you, you got to get out. You have to get out. If they tell you to go, you've got to go. Among them were 259 World War I vets who were constructing the overseas highways residing in governmental camps. There was also Hurricane Francis that had a span the size of Texas. And Francis pounded Martin and Palm Beach counties over the 2004 Labor Day weekend with winds of 105 miles an hour. The system brought torrential rains and dumped 13 inches in parts of the state. The storm also left 4.5 million people without power in Broward counties. That's the reason why everybody buying this food and water, man. You got to prepare, but you also got to leave. The hurricane stripped roofs off homes, left the size of a condominium in Singular Island without exterior, chopped up the Lake Worth Pier to pieces. One McDonald's sign in Vero Beach was so crumpled that it no longer resembled the Golden Arches. Whatever. Poor Francis caused the deaths, bless God, of over 47 deaths in the United States. 37 of the deaths was in Florida alone. We had Hurricane Elena, which was an unpredicted fickle system. We had Hurricane David. That was in the 1970s. People, let me just say this before I end this video. Look. Friends, you know as well as I, over there in California, I think it was called Paradise, you know, a fire destroyed, killed many people. Of course, that fire snuck up on them, so to speak, or whatever. They didn't even have a chance really to get out. You have a chance to get out of Florida. You do. If you are in Florida, or you're in any way could be in harm's way of this storm, you need to leave. Do not take a chance with your life. This is something I wrote down, just share with you. Don't take a chance with your life. Don't take a chance not only with your life, but with the life of others who's trying to save you. And don't take a chance with the life of your pets. Listen, if you can get out of Dorian's way, get out of Dorian's way now. Look, not trying to sound funny, but you will see the sun again. The sun will come up again. Just make sure you're still here to enjoy it. So get away from the storm. You know what? I know that there's people that think that by staying there they can protect their belongings. Friend, you are no match for a storm that's packing 220 mile an hour wind gusts. You just ain't that, you ain't that bad. So, God bless you. God protect you. God protect us. And just stay safe. Stay safe, friends. Stay safe. Okay, this is Asa Pittman with CNN News. Have a blessed day.